This is Lesson 12A in Module 12. The topic of this lesson is what is known as the cloud. After completing this lesson, students should be able to define and describe what is meant by the cloud, list the different types of clouds, and list and describe the different cloud models. The first thing we needed to discuss is what do we mean by the cloud? Here is a definition of cloud computing from Google Cloud. The key element here is that the cloud is designed to provide various services over the internet. This means that instead of having certain services resident with the organization, instead the services are provided at another location across the internet by a third party. Though we often hear people use the term the cloud when describing how their own organization is set up, there's not a single cloud type. This diagram shows 4 different types of clouds that exist. The first is a public cloud, which is an environment that is owned and run by a third-party cloud service provider. An example of this would be Google Cloud. The second is a private cloud, which is built, operated, and used by a single organization. The third is a hybrid cloud, which, as its name implies, is a combination where an organization has at least one private cloud that they are running and is also using a public cloud provider or a community cloud, some combination of the 3. The last is a community cloud, in which multiple organizations with common interests or situations that come together to create what is in essence a larger private cloud. Here is another diagram that shows the different types of cloud environments we just mentioned. Notice that they use the term deployment models here. Normally, when you hear someone use the term cloud model, they are referring to something different, but they added the term deployment to the phrase to imply one of these 4 types. The descriptions here match the ones we previously defined. I do like the example of a community model. They display here specifically providing some idea of the type of requirements that would bring different organizations together to participate in a joint cloud effort. This diagram displays some interesting statistics on the use of public, private, and hybrid clouds. 91% of respondents said that they use a public cloud, of which 22 said they only use a public cloud. 72% said that they use a private cloud, of which 3% said they only use a private cloud. This resulted in 69% of them using a hybrid cloud environment. One other number shown is the number of respondents who use a cloud type at all. 94% of respondents said they use some type of cloud. We need to be careful, however, as we have no way of knowing how many folks did not respond to this survey, so we really don't know what the percentage of organizations that don't use a cloud model at all really is. The other numbers, however, can be probably used as it does show the type of cloud used by a sample of organizations that do use a cloud type of some sort. There are 4 cloud service models. These are Infrastructure as a Service, or IaaS, which provides an organization with the cyber infrastructure needed to create an environment for them. It does not provide applications for the organization. These are to be supplied by the organization itself. Platform as a Service, or PaaS, provides users access to programming tools, APIs, and deployment tools. Users receive access to virtual development environments and cloud storage where they can build, test, and run applications. Software as a Service, or SaaS, is a web platform that provides users access to specific applications on a subscription basis instead of purchasing the application outright. The software is available continuously through the subscription service for the cloud. The fourth model is one that is not as well known. Unified Communications as a Service, which is also referred to as UCaaS, provides applications and services related to various ways to communicate onto a cloud platform. The services that it may provide include call, chat, video, and conferencing. As we continue on our discussion of cloud services, it makes sense to determine what benefits there might be in utilizing cloud services in the first place. The first benefit we can mention is in potential cost savings. With cloud services, you only pay for the storage space, computing power, traffic, applications, and resources you actually use. If a business only needs specific services at certain times, the organization can suspend cloud services for the services they don't need. Scalability is a second benefit. When an organization first starts up, their needs might be less than what they will need as they grow. Plus, they don't have to worry as much about establishing their infrastructure in the first place. As a business grows, additional services can be added or expanded fairly rapidly. If you instead attempt to provide in-house services, they are not as immediately obtainable or flexible. You have to plan and budget for them well in advance. Global accessibility is a third benefit. For many cloud situations, such as public clouds, as long as you have access to the internet, you can access the services you need wherever you may be. Another benefit is simplicity. The cloud service providers take responsibility for setting up, operating, and maintaining the infrastructure. The organizations that use the cloud services don't have to worry about these aspects, thus simplifying their operations. A final benefit is security. For this to be a benefit, it actually means that the cloud service providers are aware of potential security issues and that they ensure a secure infrastructure and applications are provided. If you have selected your provider carefully, then security is mostly handled by the provider. There are a number of cloud service providers offering the various services as shown. For example, IaaS providers include Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, IBM Infrastructure, and Google Cloud Infrastructure. PaaS providers include AWS Elastic Beanstalk, Apache Stratos, and Magento Commerce Cloud. SaaS providers include Google's G Suite, Microsoft Office 365, and Salesforce. And UCaaS providers include Zoom Phone, Ring Central, Vonage, and Nextiva. Just for fun, here is a chart showing the size of the cloud market and who is dominating it. This is from 2022 and has been growing since then. Notice that revenues hit $217 billion in 2022. In terms of who is dominating this market, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google are the three biggest, which should really come as no surprise based on the size of these organizations in the first place. This diagram may help some envision the difference between the three main cloud models. It matches what we would think of if an organization wanted to provide all services in-house. At the bottom, you need the network infrastructure, including servers. Upon this, you can decide on what operating systems you will need with the thought in mind of the applications you will be utilizing. At the top layer are the many different software packages that your organization will utilize in the course of your daily operations. This diagram gets a bit more specific about what is provided by each of the cloud models. This chart is based on the list of the items that you'd expect to have present on premise if everything was handled in-house. This list of items is found in the left column. In this diagram, the green blocks are the items not provided by the service provider and that need to be accomplished and provided by the client. Notice that with software as a service, all of the items are provided by the cloud provider. On the other end of the spectrum, infrastructure as a service provider doesn't provide the applications and several other items. Note that depending on who you talk to, and probably depending on which provider you are working with, the operating system may or may not come provided. For this lesson, there are 2 required videos on cloud computing. Both of them are fairly short. It is time for a quick knowledge review. Which cloud type consists of multiple organizations with common interests or situations that come together to create what is, in essence, a group cloud? A public cloud, a hybrid cloud, a private cloud, or a community cloud? The answer to this question is a community cloud. In the cloud survey mentioned in the lesson, which of the following cloud types was the most frequent cloud type utilized? A public cloud only, a private cloud only, a hybrid cloud, or a community cloud? The answer to this question is a hybrid cloud. Which cloud models generally provide virtualization services as a standard service? Select all that apply. The PAAS, the IAAS, the SAAS, or the UCAAS? The answer to this question is that all of them except the UCAAS provide virtualization services as a standard service offering. Which cloud model provides applications and services specifically related to various ways to communicate, such as call, chat, video, and conferencing services? Is it SAAS, PAAS, IAAS, or UCAAS? The answer is that the UCAAS specifically provides services related to various ways to communicate, such as call, chat, video, and conferencing services. This concludes Lesson 12A in Module 12.